Good evening, everyone. It is Friday the 14th of May, and
Can you guys scoot a little closer together?
this is going to be a little bit different than normal, but this week has been different, as many of you know. Just in case you guys didn't know, you guys are watching us for the first time. My father passed away on Monday, 4 or 5 days ago, on the 10th, and it's been quite a week. Um, Ryan, we have a new family member. In case you guys don't know, this is
Sherlock Meow Holmes.
yes, Vicky's new office companion. Um, anyway, it's been a really interesting week. A lot of sadness, a lot of tears. But tonight we just want to do we talk about a couple things. We've got a fundraiser that we got going on. We're going to talk about that, but we really want to just do kind of a retrospective on Dad, and that number one, the outpouring of love and comments and emails and messages has just been amazing. Just hundreds, if not, I would venture to say it's over 1,000 people have either written me personal emails or personal messages or comments on the YouTube channel or posts on Facebook or posts on Instagram. It has just been
Sorry for your loss. Good evening. My condolences.
Yeah, yeah. We're just I'm just blown away, and I know Dad's smiling down, knowing and thanking everybody for their love and well wishes. We're doing okay over here. A lot of transition because Dad did a lot of work, and so we've from a business standpoint, it's been a little discombobulating, I guess. And so we're moving on the fly. And
Renee's here.
hi, Aunt Renee.
Hey,
Hi,
Renee.
sis. And so we're getting by. Everything is fine. Fortunately, Ryan came over from California, flew over the other day, and has been helping out tremendously, as Rachel and the kids have. It's just been kind of a team effort, and we're just so blessed not only to have our family, but to have you guys as our extended family. I just can't tell you what all the love has meant to us.
Continuing.
Yeah. Anyway, if I haven't responded to you personally or to your posts on Facebook, which there's hundreds of comments on every post, I'm trying to go through and I'm reading them all and hearting them. It's just it's kind of overwhelming. I am responding to all of the emails, hopefully, and all of the comments on the YouTube channel and on Instagram. It's a lot. But anyway, again, I'm just blown away. And so tonight I want to talk about the fundraiser a little bit because we extended that. When is the final?
21st.
The what day of the week is that? I can't even
Friday.
remember. Okay,
Friday's 14th.
so
It's next Friday.
yeah, so it's a week from today. Yeah. So the fundraiser is for. I'm going to hold this up. It is for Res Dog Rescue of Montana, and we've gotten some really great donations so
Jimmy.
far. So this is all of the donations are going to go to Doug Powell's organization up there, and he does some great works up there. He and his group rescuing dogs from
Sherlock is
From
very impressed.
yeah, from the
Hi,
Indian
Jerry.
reservations. And oh gosh, that was
That
close.
was
I almost
close.
dropped it right on his head. That would have woke him up. Anyway, so here's all the information on it. If you guys have any questions, email Vicky with davesigns at gmail.com or email me, Eric at makeawoodsign.com.
Somebody asked when we got the kitty. We got him Tuesday?
Yeah, a couple days ago.
Wednesday,
Yeah, a couple days ago, and he already
Wednesday.
runs the household.
Okay, Rigoberto, thank you.
Hey, Rigoberto. So anyway, we want to just we wanted to do that. So if you guys want to donate to the fundraiser, just send Vicky an email. We'll walk you through the process. And tonight we want to just kind of talk about Dad a little bit. So Rachel and Ryan had very special relationship with Dad, and we just want to share some memories of Dad. I've got kind of a story that I want to share. I think I'll do that last, and we're just gonna kind of go around the table and yeah, he's just hanging out, and just share some stuff from Dad about Dad. So Rachel,
Looks like a bingo cat, Victoria says.
do you have any particular memories or anything about Dad?
I do. I remember.
You gotta keep your hand down and
Sorry.
talk about this.
I remember Industrial Park. When we would go to Industrial Park for, the weekends
The
or whatever,
shopping,
Mom
yes.
was working or whatever, we'd go to the shop and hang out with you guys. And you guys had a upstairs office, and in the back of that was like this storeroom you guys had
Yeah.
in that back. Do you
Yeah.
remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
It was a metal industrial building that we rented, and then we built a mezzanine. So we had half of it was like a second floor.
Yeah.
That was our
Yeah.
offices.
And
yeah.
then on the other half was like a storeroom you guys
Yeah.
had. Ryan and I would go in there in the mornings, early mornings when you were doing whatever, and we'd sleep until it was time
Yeah.
for school. Well,
because it was always kind of dark.
yeah, it was always dark.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
I forgot about that.
I remember Ryan and I being upstairs at, in the office, and
So
Grandpa
about what ages?
Okay, hold on.
maybe 4 or 5, maybe.
Nope, fine.
Here I am. I'm back here.
Oh, there she
Here I
is.
am. I'm not going to sit because I got to read the comments.
Maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
So Ryan, you had to be closer to 4.
Yeah.
But we were up there playing Frogger on
Oh, yeah,
Grandpa's computer, playing
Yeah.
Frogger,
Like
watching
his old
Grandpa.
Commodore 64.
Old, like
yeah, it was a
black
Commodore
and white.
64. Yeah.
Yeah, Frogger, and Grandpa. It was middle of the day or whatever. I remember Ryan was playing. I was sitting there watching him, going, move here, and Grandpa's over off to the side doing whatever, and you guys had just had Dairy Queen built
next door.
next door.
Yeah.
And Ryan and I were trying to find a way to get you to let us to go get ice cream. we were discussing it, playing Frogger, and Grandpa was over to this side, and he goes, well, and there was some words in there, and he goes, you're my grandkids. I'll take you wherever I want to take you. And I don't care what your dad says. And so we looked at each other. We were so excited. So Grandpa, we went downstairs, and he said, Dad, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm taking my grandkids to ice cream. And Ryan and I were like, nothing. We said nothing. We hid behind Grandpa because we knew Grandpa was not, he wanted ice cream and we wanted ice cream, and there was nothing you could say that was going to stop us. I remember mostly my pigtails bouncing on my back as we were walking over to
Dairy Queen, because
Dairy
literally
Queen.
they had built. We were in an
Oh,
industrial
Lori
park,
Tosh is here.
huh?
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
She says, love you guys so much. Sending hugs from Art and I. And
Oh,
Abby,
that's
too.
awesome. We love you, Lori and Art.
Yeah. But
Yeah, so we were in an industrial park, but right next door they had just built like a little strip mall, and there was a Dairy Queen, brand new Dairy Queen. I remember that because
Yeah.
it was like
It was a big
about,
deal.
about
Oh, it was huge.
50 feet outside of our front
yeah.
door. There was,
Well,
Queen was
said
right
ain't
there.
nothing wrong with ice cream.
Yeah.
But we were still too young for Ryan and I to go by ourselves.
Yeah, so we had to have one of you
So
guys
we
take
had to
us.
have one of you guys. So we sat there and tried to scheme, and it's funny because I remember telling Grandpa when we first moved here with Eric and Sophia, when I first moved here, and Eric and Sophia were little, maybe 4 or 5, about the same age. Sophia was 3, and they had done something, and I told you guys no snacks for the rest of the day, and you said, well, you might want to go tell Dad. And I said, all right. So I went out there and I said, Grandpa, the kids were not good today. No snacks. He said, no, they're my
Great
they're my great grandkids. I'll do whatever I wanted to.
Grandkids.
Yeah.
That must have rang a bell.
I'll do whatever I want to. And I think he got up and got him an
We always had
He always
Klondike
had-
yeah.
bars.
got
Yeah.
up and got him.
Jason says that's why grandkids love their grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But got up just because I said no. He wasn't going to until I said something.
Yeah.
She said, Leonard Davis said, so you
I-
manipulated your grandpa at a
Oh,
young
yeah.
age.
Oh
He
yes.
was easy touch.
It was
Yeah.
not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, especially especially Jackson
Hi,
Xander.
Jason.
Yeah.
Oh man, those boys had him
Yeah.
wrapped around. Oh my.
They
Oh.
from within 30 seconds of arriving on the property, they were looking for Grandpa
For
Pop.
grandpa,
Oh, yeah.
because he had cookies and ice
Yeah.
cream.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Always had
candies.
Klondike bars in the freezer.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
so
was it. That was
that
David
was.
Hess says VO2 supports ice cream.
David Hess. Hey David.
Hey. But
Um,
yeah, I remember that very
there was
clearly.
a lot of great memories at the old industrial.
Oh
park.
yeah,
Oh, my gosh.
absolutely.
We had a wood stove in there, and that was our heat. And gosh, just so many great
There were always
memories there.
dogs
Break
there.
times. And that was, in fact, we just talked about it the other day. Hostess made these donuts, and I don't know if they still make them.
We were
They
talking
were
to
white
Renee,
powdered
Vicky or
donuts.
Renee about him.
White powdered donuts, and there were 6 of them in a box with the
The
raspberry
raspberry
filling.
and then,
that's
oh my
right.
god,
Oh, those
I
things.
Those
forgot
things
about
were
those.
heavy.
And the big old cups of hot chocolate.
Yeah,
Oh,
hot
yeah.
chocolate
that was,
and those
that was
donuts.
Grandpa every morning.
Yeah.
He'd send Vicky or one
Yeah.
of the girls down there.
Oh,
And I don't
yeah.
know if you guys remember Grandma Frances,
I
but
do.
Grandma
Oh, yeah.
Frances,
Worked there.
that's my dad's mom, worked for us for decades, actually in production, running the routers.
running the awning.
Yeah, running the Onsrid. Yeah,
Onsrid,
yeah,
yeah.
running the routers and
Yeah, I remember
and
very
she was
clearly.
she was always there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, some really special times there.
Yeah,
I ran over my nephew with my
Yeah.
truck. That's another. We'll talk about
That
that.
was a
for
good
another
time.
YouTube
Yeah.
live.
We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
that was a good time.
I remember you guys because Rachel and I would go there for when it was summer break. It's
Oh,
when
we
we were
were
younger.
always there.
We were always there because mom was working or
Yeah.
going to school, and
Yeah.
I guess in the routers there's a piece. It's like almost like a propeller, and Dad took a bunch of those and straightened them out and sharpened and made ninja stars for us. So we would sit there and throw
Oh
the.
my
You remember that?
God,
We'd throw the
yes.
ninja stars at a piece of plywood that he drew a little guy on.
So here, Jimmy says, when I was a kid, Grandpa always gave me the green stuff, the Pinaka. Grandpa
Yes.
used to
Oh,
always-
the
Oh,
scrap.
yeah.
The spray,
Yeah,
the-
Or that-
Yeah.
Grandpa, do you have
the
any
drops
green
on
Oh,
stuff?
the
top.
drops, yeah.
Yeah.
We had the spray and then he had the drops.
Yeah.
Jimmy
I
said he
remember-
loved it.
I remember
That's-
you waking up Brian one day in the car with that, or was that me that did that? He fell asleep in the car, and one of us thought
With
it
the
was
spray?
No, it
Oh,
was
the drops?
The drops.
Yeah.
And we thought it
I
was
think we were going to Arizona in the Jimmy,
probably.
if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
One of
fun.
our Arizona
Oh,
trips.
it was
Yeah.
Don Borden.
Don Borden? Oh,
But
cool.
yeah,
Hey,
I
Don.
remember that. We had some good times in
Oh,
the
that was.
as industrial.
So
Your turn.
the story I picked when Grandpa moved down to Arizona.
Get away from your face.
Oh, sorry. When Grandpa moved down to Arizona and my parents still lived in California, I was 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there. And I would come down here for a week and just hang out with Grandpa.
Oh,
And,
Lyndon Johnson.
and,
Hey, Lyndon.
and so we would work all day long. We'd constantly work. But once work was over, then we would go do stuff. We would usually go fishing. And there was a spot down Catherine's Landing in Lake Mojave, and we fished there quite a bit. And then Grandpa wanted to go to the river, so he had a little beat up Ford Courier truck, and
Red.
Red.
yeah,
You could see through the floorboards.
and
Yeah.
he
could
drove
see-
it like a freaking maniac.
Yeah.
I'm
He
not
did that
joking.
to all of his vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember specifically we were taking some turn, and he didn't realize his turn was coming up, and he hit the brakes, and I'm on the passenger side holding on, because there's no air conditioner, so the window's down, so I'm holding onto the door, and
Thank you, Chuck.
the whole
Love you
truck
too.
lifts up off of 2 wheels. But anyway, so we go down to the river, and we get we're going down this road, and we get stuck. And I can't remember how we called a tow truck because it was before anybody had cell phones. But we got a tow truck out there, and it was a big old flatbed.
So was this at night or during the
No,
day?
this was during the day.
During the day.
So this must have been on a weekend or
Yeah.
something. And then the flatbed got stuck, and so we had to call Uncle Mel, which was Grandpa's
cousin.
Grandpa's cousin.
Basically, yeah.
and he had an old World War II Jeep, and we called it the War Wagon. And so he drove that down, and he pulled the flatbed out, got that unstuck, then pulled our truck out. And we were down there. God, it must have been 4 or 5 hours. You know, it was summertime.
Summer heat.
It was hot. We didn't do any fishing that day, but on our way back, Grandpa, he was pretty irritated by that time, and he goes, "Damn it, I would not drive that road again if there was a free whorehouse on the other side." and I was like 12, I think. I was like, you know, I can't believe Grandpa said that. But yeah, there was a lot of those. Most of our mine and Dad's and Grandpa's especially, just great times fishing. That's how we all bonded.
Bull says, ha 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 ha, G-A.
So my story is one when I was a kid. So we lived in this community called Ramus Village outside of Manteca, California. And there was a big park in the center, and there was houses all the way around. I was probably about 13 or 14 years old. And I was mostly, for the most part, I was very respectful to adults. Most of the time. But not all the time. Once in a while I had kind of a mouth and an attitude sometimes. Especially because I knew my dad was the toughest man that ever lived and could whoop anybody on the planet. And he was in my corner. So, I feared nothing, basically. So anyway, we were playing out in the park one day, and me and my friends were out there, and there was a guy that was a jogger at the time. This would have been like early 70s. Yeah, probably, early to mid 70s. And so there was a guy that was a school teacher, high school teacher, and he jogged around the park all the time. His name was Mr. Fix, and he would always jog around the park. And it was summertime, and the kids were out there playing, and Parks and Rec would come over and have games and stuff that the kids could play. Well, we were playing around, and of course, like, young teenagers would do, I think me and my friends were using some, let's say, colorful language, because it just sounded good to us. But there were no girls around. It was, back in those days, it was like you didn't cuss around girls. That was just not done, even if you're a young teenager. Anyway, as it turns out, it was one of my friends that had said a couple choice words. Well, Mr. Fix happened to be jogging around there right at the time and came over and proceeded to berate us about our language. And so I think there was 3 or 4 of us. And then, I guess because I was paying attention, like I should have been, because it was an adult, he started directing his rant and berate just to me and not looking at the other kids. And I was feeling like I was being picked on because I really didn't say it. Maybe I did, but I remember at the time thinking, I'm not the one that said it. So he kept going on and on and on and on. I was sitting on my bike at the time, and so he so I think I gave him a little attitude, and I said, "Hey, man, I didn't say this," and so then that just kind of fueled him, and he was berating me more and more and more, and finally I kind of lost it, and I might have called him a name. It's possible I called him a name. And said, I didn't say it. So at that point, he pushed me off my bike. Literally, I was sitting on my bike, and he grabbed me and threw me or somehow pushed me off my bike. And I said, oh, man, that's it. I'm going to get my dad. There's going to be trouble.
Like Vicky right
There's going to be trouble in River City. So I lived right around the corner from the park. So I was, and all the other kids like scattered. And Mr. Fix says, "Yeah, go get your dad. I'll talk to him." All right.
Mr. Clean.
Yeah. So I went around. I run around the corner to the house. Dad wasn't home, but he got home shortly after. My best friend Tommy was with me, and Tommy knew my dad. And so, just to give you a little background, my dad was a scrapper. he had never lost a fight in his life. He used to box, amateur boxing, and he was a tough guy. He old school tough guy. And whenever my dad took off his watch, there was going to be trouble. And so, anyway, we waited, and Dad got home, and I was telling him the story, and then I got to the point where the guy pushed me off my bike. Mr. Fix pushed me off my bike, and he said, "Where does he live?" And fortunately, he lived about 4 houses down from us, right around the corner. And me and Tommy are like, "Oh!" And so Dad takes off his watch and goes out the door, and he says, "Tell me where he lives." We walked around the corner, and Mr. Fix at that point was out in his. It was summertime. He was out doing his gardening with his wife in their front yard, and Dad, in his unique way, walked up to him. And again, my dad was a fighter. And if this offends anybody, I'm sorry. This was quintessential my dad at that point in his life. And actually for the next 40 years after that. But he walked up to Mr. Fix. And Mr. Fix was a pretty good sized guy. He was about 6'1", 6'2", not muscular, but very athletic. Dad walked up to him and said, "Are you the one that put your hands on my son?" And at that point, Mr. Fix made a fatal mistake. He moved his hands. He raised his hands like this. As soon as Dad sensed that he was moving his hands, a left hook came out of nowhere.
Oh my God.
And my dad was right-handed, and this left hook hit right on the mark, and he went down like a sack. I mean, he went down like a sack. His wife came unglued. She just was screaming and ranting and raving, and she went nuts. And she said, "I'm calling the cops." And then Dad responded, "Call the cops. He put his hands on my son. Nobody does that." So anyway, after a few minutes, Mr. Fix woke up. and then, everybody calmed down, and he apologized, and Dad apologized. And Dad probably, if Mr. Fix hadn't moved his hands, it might have not got physical, but Dad just instinct. And so everybody apologized, everybody walked away. But by the time all that happened, there was probably 6 or 8 neighbors across the street out on their front porch watching this whole thing. If Instagram would have been available then, it would have been
everywhere.
Great. Yeah, that was
Kenneth Meadows says Lodi and Stockton, you had to be tough.
Yeah. And that was quintessential my dad. If anybody put their hands on any of us kids, it was on.
Lori Delage says Eric should tell the milk at the dinner table story. Always love that one.
Which one's that?
Oh, I would assume it was
When you guys would all sit around the table.
yeah, anytime we had dinner at the dinner table every night. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. Dad worked, and us kids, we always had dinner around the dinner table, and that was free time. So even if there was discipline to be done, it was like, your dad's gonna find out. Even if there was discipline to be done, it was always done after dinner, which made dinner kind of, for us kids that had done something, kind of, but we knew we were free time.
This real quick. Boston Mike says, from Boston, Eric, after that story, are you sure your dad wasn't from the housing projects in Boston?
He was old school. He was old school, no doubt about it. But the milk story, it was always kind of, because Dad was so funny, he was so witty, and our dinner times were so much fun. It was kind of a competition to see who would be spitting milk out of their nose, because Dad would always tell a one-liner or something right when we're taking a drink of milk, and we consumed a lot of milk back in those days. But yeah, there's just tons of stories that we have, and I will share more stories as the weeks go on, as the years go on. Once in a while, I'll tell a story about Dad, and I just feel so blessed and lucky that I got my dad on camera as much as I did, and I was really been focused on that. You guys know that, the senior moments and just trying to get Dad on camera as much as I possibly could. I wish I'd have done it more, but I really did that thinking that I wanted your kids and
Yeah.
your kids and your grandkids and future generations really to know my dad, and you guys know my dad.
Justin said, "I'm so glad you did the senior moments."
Thank you,
Yeah.
Justin. I was. It was just something that came to me, and I would have loved to see my grandpa and my great grandparents on video.
Yeah.
And so
Smith Maydam, Meydam. He said, "I grew up in Tracy, California. This is so cool."
wow,
Wow.
wow,
No kidding.
that's
Okay.
the same neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
That's our area.
Paul said, "Hell, I want my kids and grandkids to know him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as sad a time as this is, I know Dad's down there, up there, looking down.
Kenny Meadows says you made him proud.
Anyway, we want to remember Dad as the great man that he was, and he gave so much to so many, not just our family. Fortunately, we were able to share him with the world, and you guys know him, and we just feel just so blessed that we had the opportunity and the technology to be able to share him
Yeah.
with the world.
They say, Charlie, thank you for sharing your family with us. We love you all so much. You left a great legacy. Jason McGarrell said, "Don't drink much these days, but I'm going to have a whiskey here in Ireland in memory of the legendary."
Wow. Awesome.
Very cool.
That's amazing.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
No, it was, growing up with Grandpa, growing up and going to work with you guys every day, and growing up in the business and in the just the way, I have to say, the way Ryan and I grew up, having you and Grandpa and Mom and just everybody, it was a damn good way to grow up.
Yeah.
It was a blessing that
It
not many
was-
people get.
No,
Yeah.
it
He
was
was like the granddad I never had, Jeff Kellerman.
it was a really good, a lot of laughs, a lot of
Well,
lot
it
of
was
lessons.
in Manteca in those days, not so much anymore, but Manteca in those days was really a cool little small town. There was, Vicky went to one high school, I went to the other, and it was just a great little agricultural farming town. Not so much anymore, but it sure was then. And even for you guys
Yeah.
as growing up there,
Yeah.
for us growing up there, it was a great place to grow
My
up.
mom grew up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 It really was an amazing area to grow up.
Nick Edstrom says his mentorship personally at Dave's reminded me a lot of my grandfather. I learned so much from your father. Kind of brought me back a tiny bit.
Thank you, Nick.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna get out of here. I think we're gonna go get some pizza and have a family night.
Tessa said, "I remember when I got my hair caught in the router." And he laughed. He laughed and told Eric the story, and he said something to the fact, "Now that's funny."
Grandpa always had a way of making
Yes, he did.
any situation that sucked. If Grandpa was there, it was a lot
There was
better.
something funny in it.
Yeah, he
Frank
could.
says,
he could-
the men who have affected me most are 1, Jesus, 2, my dad, 3, my father-in-law, 4, my boss, 5, Dave, and 6, Eric.
Oh,
Wow.
that's. Also, that being said, all of the messages that Ryan and I
Yeah.
have received.
Yeah.
Frank, Bull, I mean,
there's
I think Justin sent us a message.
Yeah,
Sent us a message.
Frank. I mean, we've received quite a few. Thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. My kids are all feeling this. I know Ryan's side of the family, and you guys' kind words is just, it's overwhelming and it's amazing. And
really is.
thank you for the outpour of love that we've seen.
Yeah.
Paul Dillman says, as I'm watch and listen to your testimonial celebrating days like your family is truly blessed.
Yes, we
Yes.
are. Yes, we are. So, with that, guys, just one word, if it means anything, coming from me. The technology that we have, we are blessed that we kind of took to it pretty fast. This whole YouTube thing, but get yourself on video for your kids, for your grandkids, for your generations to come. Get yourself, because I'll try not to jump on a soapbox, but there's too many kids and grandkids that really don't know their grandparents. They don't know their parents' stories and things that happened to them when they grew up, and I think that's missing. That's missing in today's society. And again, I don't want to preach. I don't want to preach,
Yeah.
but if you can learn anything from this, please get yourself on video. It's just so easy to do now. Back in the old days, it was super hard. Now it's so easy to do. Start yourself a channel, even if it's just for your family, to just leave some thoughts, leave some messages, leave some stories, leave some things that you grew up as a kid that your kids and your grandkids will never know what that's like. Share that with your family. It just is so important, and I think it's so missing these days.
Yeah.
So just my thumbs up. Vicky said thumbs up. Give us some thumbs up, guys. You can see our cat is wound up.
He's having a very stressful moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it, guys. We're gonna let you get on with your weekend. Thank you so much. If everything goes right, we'll be back to regular schedule next week. I've got some project videos, some sign carvers of the day that I want to do next week, and we're hoping to get on Vicky's table very soon. That's kind of our next big thing that we got to get that thing finished. So anyway, guys, again, I just can't tell you how much I've appreciated okay, I'm good. All the love and outpouring is it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's just staggering, and we love you guys.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being part of our family.
Leonard wants to know if you're finishing my walkway. He's done a lot.
Next trip. That's
Yeah.
the next trip.
We've done a lot. Yeah, we've been working, staying busy, doing a lot of stuff around here. But anyway, guys, we love you all. We consider all of you guys extended family.
Literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, 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 truly, your extended family. We love you. We've got, Vicki and I are planning some exciting things coming up, and you'll be hearing about them. We're going to do some different things, and I think Dad would be very pleased. And we're excited about the future and what the future of the company is and what our future plans are. You guys will be hearing about it very soon.
And you guys are going to be excited too.
I think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Definitely.
And
Absolutely.
Renee says, night night, Rachie, Rai, brother, and Queen Vicky.
Night,
Love you,
Night,
Renee.
sis. Love you.
Good night, you guys.
Good night,
Love
guys.
you. Good night.
We'll see you next week.